What to use for marking lines, points or corners. The issues are, will it work on the material concerned? Second issue is it easily removable? And the third issue is, will it be visible? The solutions are by material type as follows. Ground. If you're marking on the ground, the most ideal product to use is cans of spray paint that are sold specifically for marking on the ground. The colour that you choose should be a contrast with that's on the ground. An alternative to the spray paint, depending upon the situation, is to mark out on the ground using more traditional tape, strings, pegs or flags. So these are examples of tapes, strings, pegs or flags which can be hammered into the ground if the ground is amenable to it, and if you don't have a potential issue with a lawnmower going over your marker, you don't have a potential issue with your marker being broken or damaged, and you're going to use your marker straight away. So you can't use any of those types of marking out and expect them to be in reasonable condition and all your marking is intact weeks and weeks later. The next type of material that we'll discuss for marking out is wood. With wood we want you to use pencil, and the reason is that it's removable. We do not want you marking on wood using a pen or a Textacolor, or as you might know it, a Sharpie. The reason is that mark will probably still be visible even if you paint over it. There still is the chance that the mark will still be visible if you use a pen or Textacolor. So it's a pencil is what we want you to use on wood. Make sure that it's reasonably sharp so that your marking out is accurate. Usually marking out on wood is for purposes of saw cutting. Obviously if you're marking out on wood for the purposes of drilling a hole, you always have the option of using a centre punch, which is the traditional product for marking out the holes when you're about to drill into steel. The next type of product that we'll talk about is steel. With steel you will have a bit of a problem with pencil being visible or even being able to use pencil on steel. Traditionally we use chalk on steel, but you can on steel use a Textacolor or Sharpie felt nib pen on steel, because with steel you've got the option of using an acetone or other solvent based cleaner, and on steel that will come off pretty well, whereas the same cleaner on wood is problematic. The next type of product that we'll talk about marking on is brick, concrete and other masonry type products. Likewise, again, for those we want to mark out using chalk as it's removable. It's a little bit problematic using Sharpie pens on brick and concrete. They'll dry out and they'll be difficult making marks, and if you do make the marks they're then very hard to remove, because like wood it will soak into the product and then that makes it very difficult to remove. So chalk is what we want to use for all the masonry types of products. And then of course the last product group is glass, acrylic and perspex. Now with glass you're safe to use a Sharpie pen or felt nib pen or Textacolor on glass, because glass can easily take the use of any solvent based cleaners to clean it off. However, you have a large problem with acrylics and perspexes. If you use a felt nib pen on those and then you go to use a solvent based cleaner, it will damage the acrylic or perspex product quite significantly. So that makes it fairly problematic for marking out on those products. We would tend to prefer you to mark out with the point of a drill, very fine drill, and to put very fine cut marks into them when you're marking them out, because or you can use a marking tape to lay down on them. They are probably the most difficult products to find a marking solution for that doesn't damage them.